Hey guys, today I want to talk to the one of you that already get people in the store, and then you have people in the store and they look at the sales page or the page of your product where you describe your product, where you're trying to sell your product, and they do look at the checkout page and then they don't buy. Imagine that people actually look on the page and then they don't buy. And one of the things that we very typically see is that 10 people look at the checkout page and only one person buys. The problem, obviously, if people don't buy, then you're not getting money, right? So in this video, we're going to be talking about what you can do on your checkout pages to avoid people dropping off. So how can you convert as many people as possible on your checkout pages? Because there's always the thing, you can retarget them, and you have follow-up email sequences and abandonment cart sequences and all of that kind of stuff. But that's just the last resort to get people back to the page that left the page, right? And that is 10 times harder to get people back to the page than actually sell to the people that are on the checkout page. So if someone looks at the checkout page, I'm going to give you 3 tips what you can do that will help you to actually convert people. And then if you stick to the end of this video, I'm also going to give you one more kind of additional tool that we use. That's a free tool that completely changed the game for us and that helps us to convert a lot more people. And that's not some checkout timer or something like that. That's an essential tool, and that tool probably has done us hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. So stick to the end, because then you will learn that. The very first tip I have for you when you do checkout pages, and I know most of you use Shopify, right? But the one thing that changed the game for us is switching from Shopify checkout process to a custom checkout process or custom checkout page. And that's something usually when people talk about that's something everyone kind of suggests to do at a later stage or when it's more advanced. But when it comes to people checking out, that's directly affecting your profits. And you need those profits to advance. So it's a little bit of chicken and the egg situation, right? Because you need to have a really sorted out checkout process that converts people and that makes them give you money to be able to scale and have this long-term thing. Because if you think, okay, you start at one point and then later you get advanced with that, you might never reach that later spot because you're never going to do the profits in the first place because too many people are dropping off, right? So what we do, and that is the first tip here for you, is to avoid friction. Friction just means the checkout process is a funnel, right? So on Shopify, people look at the checkout page, or they look at the product page, then they add the product to the cart, then they click on checkout, then on the checkout page they have to enter their payment details, then the next page shipping details, then the next page billing details, then checkout, right? And the problem is you have so many steps, and each step has a friction attached to it. So every time you move a person from one step to another step, people will drop out. That's why it's a funnel, because you put a lot of people on the checkout page or on the product page, and then a few people are going to add it to the cart, and then fewer people are going to check out, and then fewer people are going to add the personal information, and then fewer people are going to add, like, all of the information people add. It causes friction, and you don't want to have friction. So what we do is that we use Clickfunnels for the checkout processes, also for the sales process. But if you have a Shopify store, whatever system you use right now, you need to have custom checkout pages, because you need to alter them. On the Clickfunnels checkout pages, you only have one checkout page, and you can design it however you want to. You can drag and drop everything to make it look exactly the way you want to, and leverage tip number 2 and 3 that we're going to speak about in a minute. To leverage that, you need to have kind of a custom checkout process. Also, Clickfunnels just puts it all on one page. So you have personal information, payment details, shipping details, everything is on one page. So you don't have people going from one step to a second step to a third step to a fourth step and then finally reach the actual checkout and actually give you money, right? So that is the very first tip I have for you, is to avoid the friction, because that's going to keep a lot of people out of the funnel, or that's going to keep a lot of people from dropping out of the funnel. Then the next step that I have here is it has to be clean and clear. The thing is that we look at consumers, and we are not the consumers. We are the marketers. We are the ones that's setting this up. So from our perspective, to set up the checkout page, from our perspective, everything is clear, right? Everything is logical, right? You type in this information and then you go through the page, right? But if you actually watch consumers buying on your page, they go on the page and then they might scroll all the way down, and then they scroll to the middle, and then they scroll up, and then they leave, or they have a look at kind of what do you offer. They read other things on the page. They like, consumers' minds are very confused. So you need to guide them through the checkout process, right? So you need to, what we do basically, we highlight a step-by-step process. We say, step number 1, and we type it out. Step number 1, what's your email address? And then we have a field, type your email address in here, right? So it's a very, very step-by-step progress. Then we have step number 2, where should we ship your product? Type your shipping address, and then we have all the fields. Your address here, your city, zip code, country, state, all of that underneath each other. Also on desktop checkout pages, we have all of those forms on the left side, and then the right side has other purposes, and I'm going to go there in a second with you in step number 3. However, you want to have those pages as clean and as clear as possible. You need to guide them through. Step number 1, do this. Step number 3, do this. Step number 4, do that. So you avoid people scrolling all over the place and getting confused on what they need to do. You need to give them a very clear guidance. Here's where you type your email address. Then in the next step, you need to give us your address. Here's where you type your address. Just imagine you have a 6-year-old that's looking at the page, figuring out what to do. Okay, it needs to be abandonment, or it needs to be 100% clear to that 6-year-old. Okay. Step number 3 is trust, and trust is something, they're on your shop. They're not buying on Amazon, right? So you need to have some sort of social proof and trust here. They're not buying on Amazon. They're not buying on some trusted platform. So you need to make sure that they feel secure to check out with you, right? And you could do that in a few different ways. One of the ways is to have the SSL certificate enabled. That is basically on the top of your browser. That is the little lock, the little green lock that says, hey, this page is secure, right? So in your hosting provider, you need to have the SSL certificate enabled so that it shows this page is secure, right? All the links on the page have to start with HTTPS, right? Or HTTPS, not only HTTP, but HTTPS. So you need to make sure that those links are right. Any links on the page, whether that's just in your footer, the link to your privacy policy or something like that. You know, it needs to be that way so that you have the SSL certificate enabled. You also need to have some sort of trust symbols, right? So that is some the Visa or MasterCard, the PayPal button, or you know, anything that evokes trust. You give a 30-day money-back guarantee, and that's all something you put on the right side, right? So you have a 30-day money-back guarantee on the right side, and then you have all other kinds of things that you can do for trust and to make sure the person actually knows what they're buying here. And by the way, I'm going to show you the exact setup of the checkout page, how we do it and how you can do it too, in one of the next videos. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to show you that step by step how to put all of the things that I'm telling you today into action, right? So on the left side is a form, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the right side, you have a picture of the product, and then we do bullet points, like little check marks, what's included. What's included in the product, everything in one view, so the person knows exactly what they're getting. A 30-day money-back guarantee, sometimes we go up to a 90-day money-back guarantee, to make them feel secure about the purchase. Make it very clean and neat and clear, and that's pretty much how we set that up. Now, social proof comes in it as well. So when they're on the page, they might drop off because they don't know if, like, even though we say all of that in the page, how can they trust it, right? So for social proof, what you want to do on this page is you want to screenshot Facebook comments from people that used it, videos from people that use it, that give you a review, Amazon reviews, AliExpress reviews. You want to have some sort of review or some sort of feedback from buyers on that page. Okay, that is what you want to put on the checkout page. Now, I'm going to give you a tool here, and the tool that we use that does everything for us is Hotjar. Hotjar is a tool basically. It's a little code snippet that you put on your page, just like you would put a Facebook pixel on it. And then what Hotjar does basically, it's like filming everyone's interaction on the page. So you have someone on the page, and then they get filmed. Where do they scroll? Where do they click? When do they type? What do they look at? It's basically a screen recording from everyone that's on the page. And then you can watch those screen recordings and you see exactly where do people drop off, what buttons don't work, where do people get confused, what do they look at, what don't they look at, are they all over the place, or do they follow the page in a step-by-step mechanism? And alone that, there are so many little issues that you would never think about as the one that's setting this up, because you're not the consumer. But out of the consumer perspective, some things might be, not clear. So you need to make sure that you have that installed. It's Hotjar. It's a free tool, I believe, for the first 5,000 interactions or for the first 30 days or something like that. So make sure you sign up to that. We will link it down in the description here, and put that on your pages. Put it on your sales pages, put it on your cart pages, put it on all of your pages, and record what people do. It has a little heat map function and all of that kind of stuff. I can only recommend you to do that. Like I say, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to show you step by step how to set up checkout pages like that, how to put everything together, what's important, and I'm going to show you real life examples of our checkout pages that we use and test to convert. So we have our own e-commerce businesses, and we send thousands of people every day into our stores obviously we want to make money. So we send thousands of people in our store every day. So we learn, we split tested dozens different variations of pages, and we found out what works, what doesn't work. So make sure you subscribe so you can learn all about that. If you want to learn the whole principle, how do we actually make money with e-commerce without investing in inventory, without using general drop shipping stores or any of that kind of stuff that doesn't work anymore for years, but how we actually make it work, how we profitably acquire customers through advertisement, then head over to the description, because there's a free web class here for you that you can watch. And in that free web class, I'm revealing the whole process. It's about an hour long, so it's hard to do this here on YouTube right now, but it's an hour long in-depth class where I show you exactly the way that we set up, scale, and profit from our e-commerce businesses. So make sure to check that out, and I catch you there in just a couple of minutes. Cheers.